Gerai, tai mes pradėsim mūsų spaudos.
Good afternoon. We are starting the press conference, and I'm very happy that today the Lithuanian Parliament hosts the first conference together with a Swedish moderator party foundation and with the executive director Eva Gustafsson, who's been with us for almost 30 years. That is the team that did everything possible to help Lithuania join the European Union. And it is the foundation that worked together with our party institution. And I have no doubt that we will organize many more conferences in the future. In this conference, we also have Mr. Andrius Vyšniauskas, a member of the European Parliament, who contributed to the many activities, and our executive secretary of the party, who will explain a lot more on the objectives of the foundation. And at the same time, we also have a former ambassador of Ukraine in the US, Oleg Shamshurov, who's the ambassador to France. The topic of today is Ukraine and Ukraine's victory. And I believe that everyone who are watching us online will find it very interesting to know what the ambassador thinks of the approaching elections in the United States and what Ukraine needs to ensure its victory. So, Ambassador, we'll start from you. I'd like to give the floor to you because we all are here because of you. And then I will give the floor to my colleagues. So, Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ambassador. Well, actually, I will start with the last part of your question. So what do we need? Of course, we need support to win in this war. And by saying we, I mean Ukraine and the community of democratic nations. And speaking about what we need, I mean, as the country, definitely we need weapons, we need sanctions, and we need economic and financial and humanitarian assistance. So this is the triad that would help us to win this war. And if I try to single out the most important things, that is definitely weaponry. Weaponry to defend our country and to defeat Russia, to defeat Putin's regime. Of course, we are looking very carefully at what is happening and what is likely to happen in the United States. Because it's quite clear that for us, our partnership, strategic partnership with the United States is of the utmost importance. Maybe it's the most important element in the system of aid and support of Ukraine. And we are very attentively looking at the processes that are taking place in the States and will be happening after midterm elections. I see a certain, I would say, difficult and even danger posed by the fact that there would be increased number of Trump-influenced members of Parliament, of the House of Representatives, first of all, who would try maybe to delay the aid of Ukraine and would, as at minimum, use the phraseology of controlling and so on and so forth. It's not for granted. Definitely, we had enough of bipartisan support in the United States Congress and the leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, definitely is one of the champions of Ukraine. We have support of the current administration, but at the same time, we should be ready for the problems which might pose the increased number of the Trumpites in the U.S. Congress. But we do hope and we expect that the support of the United States of Ukraine would be as strong as it was up to date.
Ačiū labai, ambasadoriau. Ir gal tada aš...
Thank you, Ambassador. Eva Gustafsson, could you tell a story that is related to Lithuania, as I have said, that lasts for 30 years, and why those party funds, foundations are that important? Why did you come here, and what we could do together with the institution, the institute that we are establishing right now?
Yes, thank you so much. We started to work in the Baltic states in the beginning of the 90s. Before that, in Stockholm, Sweden, the leadership of my party, the Moderate Party, who is now back in government, we were demonstrating every Monday at 12 o'clock at the main square in Stockholm for the freedom of the Baltic states. And in all, we were demonstrating 79 Mondays until the last country were free. Today we are demonstrating again every Monday at 12 o'clock for the freedom of Ukraine, for peace and freedom of a democratic Ukraine. Our foundation was founded in the beginning of the 90s in order to help our sisters and brothers in the Baltic states to build their political parties, to organize their governments and their parliaments, and to give examples on how a democratic state can function. This start of a cooperation has then led to our helping and supporting our sister parties and friends becoming members, or their countries becoming members of the European Union and of NATO. It has also, we all have also trained women and young politicians so they could take jobs in the European Parliament and other European institutions to work with their elected representatives. We are giving support in the area of democracy. We are helping with training and education, but we are also providing areas for networking on both the European and a global level, and providing contacts with governments and other important organizations and persons who could be good partners in giving certain assistance or advice in areas where the countries have to develop or want to develop. The relationship to Lithuania is very special to us because we were here from the beginning. I was at that time working with our former Prime Minister and former Foreign Minister Carl Bildt. We were here standing together with you, together with Professor Landsbergis, together with Andrius Kubilius and other friends. And we thought, or we were very proud. We thought that your victory is also part of our victory because we felt that we are together. We are together as one. And because of our history together, we are also very happy to assist now our friends in the Homeland Union to create their own foundation. And now it's time for us together to work to help Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia in their strive for becoming members of the European Union, members of NATO, and also, in the case of Ukraine, to rebuild the country when the Putin regime hopefully is gone. And with our contacts as Lithuania and Sweden, as members of the European Union, as members of other parliamentary assemblies, with a good international network, we who feel extra much, I would say, for Ukraine, Georgia, and Moldova, now it's our responsibility to be the voices, to bring in more and more countries to give the necessary support to Ukraine and to Moldova and to Georgia. But foremost to Ukraine, because first of all, we need peace in Ukraine in order to be able to work together to re-establish and rebuild the democracies and to bring our neighbors into our global corporations. Thank you.
Ačiū labai, Eva, tikrai nuoširdžiai ir už.
Thank you ever very much for your long-standing contribution for our security and for the welfare that we are trying to transfer to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. Andrus, you are a founding father of the law that opens the way for establishing similar foundations in Lithuania. As far as I remember, the first foundation was established in Germany, then in America, and now 30 years on, we are going to establish a foundation in Lithuania. Why is it necessary for Lithuania, and why is it important for Lithuania? Thank you, Žygimantas. Thank you, colleagues, for participating in the conference. I believe that today's event is a proof as to why Lithuania needs such analytical hubs and foundations. Let's start from the fact that Germans, Americans, and other countries and think tanks of other countries have contributed and invested a lot of money and effort into our country to ensure that Lithuania is a democracy, that Lithuania has a transparent system of governance, that Lithuania is a member of NATO and the European Union, and that Lithuania complies with all the EU, NATO, and international standards. We are a result of the joint efforts of other democratic countries. Without the support of Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and other countries, Lithuania would have been different. And today, Lithuania has to return the debt to those countries because the foundations, the political parties, the politicians of those countries have contributed to our freedom. It is high time for us to invest into the neighboring countries that are aspiring to break free from the empire of evil that we have managed to escape some 32 years ago. And I have in mind Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia in mind. Today we see unrest in those countries. We have the possibility to invest our time and money into those countries, into the political processes underway in those countries. And maybe this think tank that we are establishing today will probably contribute to providing support to the right-wing forces in those countries. The establishment of our institution is the return of the debt to the Germans, Swedes, and other countries. Thank you, Martynas. Could you say more specifically what our objectives are? Thank you, dear colleagues. And in fact, we do have a very joyous moment because it took quite a long time until we have the favorable legal framework for Lithuania to have such hubs, foundations in Lithuania. I'm grateful to Vyšniauskas, a member of the Lithuanian Parliament, who provided the amendments to the law of the Republic of Lithuania. I'm very happy that the Homeland Union was the first party to announce of the establishment of the foundation, and I am very happy that I contributed to such events. I'm very happy that political parties have signed a concord, which means that we as a Homeland Union will establish the foundation, but that other parties will take similar steps towards that direction as well. This will contribute to improving the ecosystem, the political ecosystem in Lithuania. Now, when it comes to our think tank, the presidium of the party has said that it will be the European right-wing institution, and we will bring together the people to various joint activities. It has been mentioned today that one of the objectives will be international cooperation and support right-wing parties in Belarus, Moldova, Georgia. Apart from that, we will engage in other tasks that will be directed towards the domestic policy of Lithuania. So majority of the activities of the think tank center will be towards the analytical activities and the vision of the political parties as to what kind of Lithuania we want to see in 10 or 20 years' time. And I'm very happy that our political community has agreed on that. When it comes to education and training, I am convinced that it is very important to develop yet another generation of politicians. We are the conservative political group in the parliament. We have very young politicians in the party, but it is necessary to ensure that we contribute to the development of skills and competences of other young people in our party. The conference is yet another example as how this cooperation could look like. We are very happy about the contribution of the moderate party of Sweden. I'm very happy that we have those people here, that they contributed to organizing this event. And I believe that this is only the beginning of a very nice tradition, and hope that this cooperation will continue in the future. Thank you very much. We will conclude the press conference, but let me reiterate this symbolic phenomenon that the Swedish Moderate Party Foundation was established, in fact, on the eve of the fall of the Soviet Empire, while our institution will be established on the eve, hopefully, of the Russian Empire. Thank you.